or that wife will beg and beg and beg, hey, we need help in our marriage. And the guy says, no, I'm just not going. I'm not going to go and get help for our marriage. You know what happens? She gets fed up, walks out the door, and all of a sudden, here's this man that comes running to you, saying, preacher, I need some counseling. Can I be honest with you? I might as well look at them and say, sorry, it's too late. You get counseling before you need it. You get counseling in the good times. That's when you do maintenance on that relationship when things are going well. That's when you do that maintenance. Summer leaves. What comes next? Fall. What is fall? Fall is a season of change. Can I be honest? Chris and I are in fall right now. Kids move out of the house. You have to make adjustments. Your schedule's different. You're not going to ball games. You're not going here. You're not going there as much. You're going to have to share the TV in the family room with no one else but your spouse now. You have money, more money to do things that you've not been able to do in that relationship. You can buy some things that you've not been able to buy before. And so fall is a season of change. But then what happens with fall? It moves to winter. Winter is the season of slowing down. Most of us slow down in the winter. We don't have to cut grass. We don't have to do all these things outside. And so really, winter is what? Retirement years. It's where you have to readjust. And this is what really boils down to. Those winter years, that's where you have to find your purpose again. You have to rediscover your purpose. You know how to know that? A lot of folks, when they're elderly, they say, I don't know what my purpose is anymore. You know, I raised my kids and they're gone, this, that, and that. What is my purpose? You have to rediscover what your purpose is. Now, let me close with this statement and then our invitation. I want to say something to anybody that's over 65. I want to say something to Kenneth and Norma since they've been married 54 years. Winter ought to be your most productive days. It may not be like in the past. You may do things different. But I'm not saying go down and work in TD like you did when you're a young man. But I'm saying winter ought to be your most productive days. Why? You have more time. You have more time to give to God. You have more time to give to the church. You have more time to spend with family. You have more time to instruct grandchildren. You have time to instruct great-grandchildren. So winter ought to be the most productive time of our life. Now, here's an invitation. I don't expect any married couple to come down today. I don't expect that. But I don't know your marriage relationship. There may be somebody in this room today that's struggling with your marriage relationship. You may not want anybody to know that. I probably wouldn't either. I'm not going to ask you to come down today. I'm going to ask you right where you are to just pray a prayer and just say, God, help me in my marriage. Matter of fact, every single married person today ought to pray a prayer. God, help me in my marriage relationship, because I believe every single person wants their marriage to be better if you're married. I believe that. So every person who's married ought to pray, God, make my marriage better. Now, there may be somebody here that doesn't know Jesus. You may be married and you may be lost. You're not going to ever have a good marriage the way God intended until you give your heart life to Jesus Christ. There might be somebody that's single here today. And you may say, well, you know, you talked about, you know, the gift of singleness. I have desire to get married. I don't have that yet. What you need to pray is that God will lead you to that right person. I believe with all my heart. I believe this with all my heart. God will move heaven and earth to get that person in your life that God wants you to marry. I believe that. Why? I'm a prideful man. God moved heaven and earth so that I could meet you. And I believe that. So I want to say that to every single person that's single. Don't think the world's left you behind. You get on your knees and you pray every day, God, lead me to that right person. Give me enough sense to know when the right person comes in my path, I will know that that's the right person. And I believe God will do that. I believe all my heart He will. And so this morning, our invitation is simple. I don't expect if you're married to come down and say, I've got problems in my marriage. I don't expect you to do that. You may, but I don't expect you to do that. You pray right there where you are. God, help me in my marriage. But if you're lost, I am asking you to come down front this morning. I want you to know Jesus. I want you to know the joy of knowing Him. I want you to walk out of this building today and say, if a car hits me walking out here and I'm killed dead, I'm going to heaven. I want you to have that assurance. I want you there saying, well, reckon where Brother Gene went? Hey, folks, you don't have to say that when I die. You just say, hey, Brother Gene, I'm going to miss that bald-headed preacher, but one thing about him is he's enjoyed all this wonderful things that God has in heaven. Don't feel sorry for him. Just say everything he preached, he's experiencing. But if you don't have that assurance this morning, I want you to have it before you walk out that door. Because I want to tell you something. That you mark it down, that I know it's true. Death is coming for everybody in this room. Can you tell me when? Can you tell me where? And I won't talk about it anymore. But you cannot tell me when, you cannot tell me where. And so today is the day of salvation. Would you come to death if you don't know Jesus? We're going to stand. Wes is coming. Elise and a hymn of invitation. Would you come? I'll be standing down front waiting for you. Wes, what are you singing? Words on the screen. I'll be standing down front. Would you come?
Streams of mercy.